If you're a pet owner, you know the feeling, right? The constant scratching, the random sneezing fits. You've tried everything. You changed their food, you've gone to war with fleas, but nothing seems to work. And eventually, you start looking around your own house, wondering, what am I missing here?
And that's when your eyes land on the floor. It's a question a lot of us have had, especially if you've put in new flooring. I mean, our pets live their entire lives just inches from it. They sleep on it, they play on it. So, could the floor actually be the culprit? Okay, let's get into it.
So here's the surprising, straight-up answer. No. From a purely scientific standpoint, your pet isn't allergic to the material of the laminate floor itself. It's not like pollen or dust mites. But wait, don't breathe a sigh of relief just yet, because that is absolutely not the whole story. While they aren't allergic to the floor, they can have very real, very frustrating reactions to what the floor is releasing into the air. And that, right there, is where things get interesting. You see, the real problem isn't an allergy. It's more of a chemical sensitivity. It's a reaction to these invisible chemicals that kind of leak out of new flooring. It's a process called off-gassing, and the main troublemakers have a name: VOCs. So what in the world are VOCs? Well, volatile organic compounds are basically chemicals that become a gas at room temperature. You know that new car smell or the smell of fresh paint? That's VOCs. With flooring, these gases can be released for weeks, sometimes even months. And think about it, our pets live down in that breathing zone, right next to the source, so they get a much bigger dose than we do. And we're not talking about some vague, mysterious toxin here. Scientists have actually analyzed this stuff and pinpointed these specific chemicals. We're talking about known irritants like formaldehyde, toluene, and xylene. So where are these VOCs hiding? It's not really the pretty top layer your pet walks on. Research points the finger directly at the core of the plank, that high-density fiberboard, or HDF, and the resins and glues that hold it all together. The very center of the floor is what's breathing these compounds into your home. Okay, so we know what's causing it, but what does this reaction actually look like? How would you know if this is happening to your pet? Well, the signs can be super sneaky because they look a whole lot like other common allergies. And this is exactly why it's so hard to figure out. You're not going to see a sign that just screams, "It's the floor." Instead, you'll see stuff you'd probably blame on seasonal allergies or their food. You know, that endless paw chewing, weird rashes on their belly where their skin touches the floor the most, or even respiratory things like sneezing and watery highs. This overlap is precisely why the floor is so often overlooked. It's also really important to know that this can look totally different depending on whether you have a dog or a cat. For dogs, who love to just lay around and have a lot of direct skin contact with the floor, the symptoms are usually skin-related. But cats, they are meticulous groomers. They pick up all these tiny particles on their fur, and then, well, they lick them off. So for them, it often shows up as respiratory issues. It's not that one is more sensitive than the other, it's all about their behavior. So this all leads to a really big question, right? If laminate has this potential issue, what about other floors? How do they all stack up when we're talking about pet sensitivities? This chart really lays it all out. With laminate, the big risk is that initial VOC off-gassing, but the key is that it goes down over time. Now, carpet is a whole different animal. It's basically a giant sponge trapping dust, dander, pollen, you name it. Hardwood is pretty good, but every time you finish or refinish it, you're starting a new cycle of chemicals. And vinyl can have its own long-term issues with things called plasticizers. So when you look at the whole picture, it's kind of surprising. A modern, good quality laminate floor actually has a risk that's really predictable and, more importantly, manageable. Its main problem is temporary, which you can't say for a carpet that's just going to keep trapping allergens for years and years. So that brings us to the most important part of all of this. What can you actually do? How do you pick a floor that's going to keep your furry friends happy and healthy? First thing, you've got to understand the timeline. The risk is at its absolute peak right after the floor is installed. But, and this is a big but, with plenty of fresh air, those VOC levels drop like a rock within a few months. By about 6 months out, most of that stuff is gone. The problem actually has an expiration date. So here's your game plan. Number 1, shop smart. Look for labels like Floor Score or CARB Phase 2 compliant. Those are certifications that guarantee low emissions. 2, after it's installed, ventilate like your life depends on it. Open the windows, run fans, just get that air moving. 3, invest in quality. Better products tend to use better, safer resins. And finally, clean smart. Just use a damp cloth. Don't go adding a bunch of harsh new cleaning chemicals into the mix. So, in the end, the floor itself isn't really the enemy. It's the invisible chemistry that comes along for the ride. But by understanding where it comes from, spotting the signs, and making smart choices, you can totally create a space that's healthier for everyone in your family, two-legged and four-legged. It just leaves one final question to think about. Now that you know all this, what's hiding in your floor?